Just because you don't know what texturism is, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. That just means you haven't done the readings. Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on. What is going on, y'all? I am going to be talking about Basketball Wives, Colorism, and OG once again. I know, I'm tired, but y'all have... I'm tired of talking about this, but it's important that we have this discussion, although I've done a video about this like a year or two ago, and all the stuff that OG was experiencing. So I watched a 50-minute audio of OG having a conversation with Kristen and the other folks. I don't know if it was secretly taped or what was it giving, but OG posted on Instagram. It's not been taken down, so I wonder how everything is going with that. So in this conversation, you got kind of Kristen just saying that she doesn't think that it's colorism, or what makes you think it's colorism, like da 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 da, I'm the same skin complexion as you, da 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 da. And then you had a lot of people react and was commenting, and you had a lot of folks, other people who I'm not going to name, who've done videos about it, saying that they don't understand what texturism is, and they're like, it's a new thing. The stuff that pisses me off is that y'all are not saying this because y'all don't know. Y'all are saying it because you don't want to know. There's so many books, there's so much research online that has been provided by black folks, and a lot of this stuff is like accessible. Like there's whole threads and stuff on Twitter. There's whole YouTube videos talking about texturism and futurism. I think Wonder's World wrote about it a couple of times. Follow her on Twitter. Like there's even this book that I have been reading that talks about fat phobia and all these things when it comes to black women, specifically dark-skinned black women. So it's just like, y'all don't want to know. You don't want to know. And I'm hearing someone say that, oh, if we can't call OG ugly because of these things, then it's a slippery slope. The slippery slope is colonialism. The slippery slope is white supremacy. The slippery slope is anti-blackness. And we shouldn't be calling nobody ugly. Why are you so hell-bent on calling someone ugly to begin with? That's myself. That's my question to you, to everybody. When you do call somebody ugly, why is that? Name two things. Why do you feel the need to call this person ugly, and what makes this person ugly? What makes them ugly? Do you think that maybe this world that we live in, that we know is a white supremacist world, do you think for a second, this anti-black world, do you think maybe a second that the world has probably taught us that blackness is probably ugly, and anything close to blackness is ugly, and anything that's closer to European or white is beautiful? I mean, come on now. We're in a world where we live in a country where we're still hearing first black this, first black this, and we're still here arguing over the Oscars or whoever, the Golden Globes, not nominating a black artist, or this black person hasn't won an award in 40 years, and you seem to think that maybe that's just happening. Like out of all the rap videos we've seen of thin, light-skinned, ambiguously black women, all look the same, with the same hair texture, the same eye color, the same features and stuff, you seem to think that maybe it doesn't register that maybe we've been taught this, because at the end of the day, who is teaching anti-blackness? Who has the money to be able to benefit from anti-blackness? Who is out here doing these things? And you're talking about a slippery slope. I'm really amazed, because for some of y'all to claim y'all have so many degrees and so educated, that even my high school diploma barely graduating ass is able to understand what anti-blackness is. So I really am not surprised, because y'all think because a white institution gave you a piece of paper that you in debt for, that you know what the fuck you talking about. So we're going to talk about texturism, we're going to talk about futurism, because that is what OG is dealing with. OG is not ugly. My issue is this with Basketball Wives, Shawnee, Kristen, and Evelyn, that y'all think that this just happened. Y'all think that it just happened. No, this is the first time y'all seen it brought up, because we have let y'all slide for the last 12 years. Y'all have been completely disrespectful to dark-skinned black women on this show. You've seen the stuff that happened with, what's the girl, Misha. Unfortunately, what Tammy had put her hands in, how she was treated. You saw the situation of how Royce was treated. Even Royce from Basketball Wives, Royce Reed, even came and commented and talked about the stuff that she experienced on the show. And she said how unbearable it was sometimes. And we also know if you throw a rock, if you throw 20 rocks, you still won't hit a black basketball player that is married to a black dark-skinned wife. I can only name one off the top of my head, and that's LeBron James. Every other one that I think about is married to a light-skinned black woman or a white woman or an ambiguously black person. Even we talk about rappers, the black rappers and stuff. Who are when you got Jay-Z, all these folks who took a picture with all their wives, and who it was, Jay-Z, it was Alicia Keys, it was Diddy. All of their girlfriends, fiancés, and wives were lighter skinned. Come on now. Colorism exists because anti-blackness exists because white supremacy exists. So if you think for a second, Shawnee O'Neal, that doesn't happen on your show, you a damn fool. If you think that it doesn't happen or it doesn't, you a damn fool. And then y'all get y'all ignorant asses on these platforms. Y'all start talking about, oh, they out here shooting us in the street. Y'all out here shooting folks in the street too. Y'all out here silencing this dark-skinned black woman who's talking about the stuff that she's experienced, and y'all dismissing it. So you can't on one hand talk about, oh, this doesn't exist and ain't nobody doing Featurism and Texturism, and then I want to sit here and use folks like Breonna Taylor, her death, her tragedy, as a way to promote that you care about black folks when you don't. You don't. You only care when it's beneficial. You only care because it's beneficial. Y'all are not laying y'all lives on the line for no damn body. You're not even taking a risk and listening to this black dark-skinned woman, what she's saying. You silencing it. You're literally silencing the same stuff that's out here killing all of us. So don't get on here talking about, well, they out here, they've been doing this shit. And a police officer getting locked up or a police officer getting charged ain't gonna make a difference. If we out here talking about all of the anti-black shit, it just doesn't stop there. That's y'all problem. That y'all think that it's just folks walking down the street. Y'all think that's it. And y'all don't think that y'all upholding that shit the same too? That's what be getting me. You can't check in and when you want to care about black folks. Oh, I care about it this time because it's making national news. Then when we asking you to listen to this black dark-skinned woman talk about the experiences that she's had, you're automatically dismissing it. You're automatically dismissing it. That's what's crazy to me. So I'm not interested in y'all talking about because y'all don't have the range to be able to have a conversation. This shit is late as hell. We've been talking about black folks being slain by police officers for the last, I don't know how many years, especially on social media. So when y'all get on black Basketball Wives and y'all start making these, oh my God, I just want you to respect black folks. And then y'all sit up here and then there's a dark-skinned black woman that's sitting up here getting harassed online. You got a black, or is she black this time? Because she said she wasn't black at one point. You got Evelyn out here comparing this woman to a monkey. And then y'all out here, girl, please miss me with the bullshit. Please miss me with it. Please miss me with it. Because the same stuff that OG is experiencing is the same stuff that we see across the street. Like, it's anti-blackness. It comes in all shapes, forms. It's just not a police officer stopping a black man and arresting him. It's just not that. It is a whole systematic thing that is going on. And if you can't see it everywhere, you damn sure can't talk about it when it's convenient for you. Like, it's just crazy to me. And then you got Shawnee out here saying like it doesn't exist. Like, I'm so irritated by it because it's just like y'all don't care. So where I'm getting at is that we cannot wait till we see a black person on the news who has been, slain or murdered by cops or police officers. We can't just react to that. We have to be willing to do the work 24/7. And not when it is convenient for us because we want to talk about a story that is trending. To like, if we want a better world, We have got to start challenging ourselves in the things that we do and the things that we uphold that are harmful to other folks. Because I guarantee, like, you just being mean to OG and like her just stop to OG. It's probably how you look at who you hire to do things for you, how you treat folks that look like OG outside of this TV show. So for a person to feel like that somebody such and such is ugly, or want to call somebody ugly, there is politics in ugliness. We know that fat folks are less likely to get jobs compared to their thin counterparts. We know that darker skinned folks miss out on opportunities. We know, like, we see it every day. Like, I think people need to get out of this idea that it's just only in the bedroom, it's only in these things. You need to start challenging yourself. You need to be challenging, like, why all my friends look the same? Like, why all my friends look the exact same complexion, all of these things? Like, come on now. Like, we've been saying that the basketball community seems to be made up of a whole bunch of light-skinned or non-black women. Like, come on now. So now y'all feel exposed because y'all whole identity was just being thin, light-skinned, and desirable. Like, that's it. Now that folks are calling it out, now you see OG just like, how in the hell is she out here? And y'all are doing it. You're not gonna gaslight me and make, well, we never said yes you do. You do it in how you treat her. Like, there's a way to be able to throw jabs at somebody or do whatever, but y'all do it specifically, and I'm gonna tell you how I know, because people do me the same way. When I say something that somebody does not agree with, or I make a comment about a celebrity that they don't agree with my comment, it is never about, you know, what I said. It's always about how I look. How dare you, looking like that, come out and say something? How dare you have the audacity? Because we only allow folks who are desirable to be ugly to us. That's just what it is. Like, ain't nobody, it's just the same thing as a white person ain't gonna take no shit from no black person because they think they are less than. We do that same thing. And y'all think that OG is less than y'all, and y'all think that she's not supposed to be on this show. That's all it is. Y'all just like, how dare she? We all have a standard. There's been this specified standard with the Basketball Wives franchise, and Basketball Wives ain't really had to do too much for it because outside stuff was already doing it for them. All these folks who are basketball wives or had a basketball husband at one point looked a certain way, so they can just pick them. Like, just because you are dark, Kristen and Jennifer, doesn't mean that you're experiencing the same type of colorism, futurism, and texturism as an OG. Featurism is when we're talking about lips, nose, eyes, stuff that can be tied to blackness. That is what Featurism is. Matter of fact, I can look up the official definition. And as soon as I type in Featurism, an article from 2018 pops up. I was trying to educate myself more on the topic of Featurism, but was unable to find any real conversations or topics about it. So I felt it was only necessary to speak on it. The official definition of Featurism is a form of architectural design based around certain accentuated features. In other contexts, society accepting or preferring certain features over others, i.e. European features over African features. Yes. And when we talk about society, I'm not talking about you and me, I'm talking about the overall. And when we talk about society, I'm basically saying white supremacy, because that's what the type of world we live in that defines beauty as whiteness. Almost as like it's okay for a white person to have braids and stuff. Like, oh, okay, it's okay because it's on a white person. But a black woman can't walk into an office. She can't walk into a law firm as an attorney with a large with braids. It's just something that we don't see every day. So for people to argue and say, I've never heard of Featurism, just because you've never heard of it doesn't mean that it's not a real thing. Nobody is making up any of this stuff. These concepts have been around for the longest. People are just providing new language for it. Like, this stuff has been, some of this language and stuff has been talked about for the long. Folks have been writing about this for the longest. Just because you've never heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Texturism. We all know what texturism is. We know that when we go on YouTube and we type in black hairstyles and we looking up how to style hair, which videos have the most views? Certain type of hair textures. Only certain. When we see commercials, I'm gonna tell you even better. I've been watching commercials this weekend on Hulu, on YouTube and everything. Every time I see a black person in the commercial and they're in a relationship, it's always with a white person. And then their child is biracial looking with a certain type of complexion. Like, because that's the only type of blackness that we accept when it comes to that. It's like always this lighter child and this like specific hair texture. So moving on to texturism. Let's look up the definition of texturism. Let's look it up. So texturism, how 5 women overcame the idea of good hair. That's what that is. That's what that is. So you've heard people say good hair before. Oh, she got good hair. She got Native American in her family. She, like, I got, you know, folks were saying, like, a long time ago, some folks still say, oh, I got Indian in my family. Or I got Cherokee or this and that. Like, folks were saying that. And we are calling that now texturism. Because that's what it is. Like, you don't want hair texture like this. This is too much. You don't want hair texture like this. To be defined as beauty, it needs to be straighter hair. And it can't have a tight coil or curl pattern like this. Like, that's not beauty. That's messy. Like, that's why we don't like to see folks. That's why corporate America doesn't like locks, doesn't like braids, doesn't like afros, all of that. It's just giving clean shave because we don't want to see, get that shit out of here, get that black shit out of here. We don't want to see it. So that is what we're talking about. Texturism, featurism, colorism. All of these things that black women have been talking about for the longest, have been writing about for the longest, are accessible online. Just because you've never heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There's some stuff right now I've never heard of. Right now. But I guarantee you, like a year from now, I'll be like, oh shit, so that's what that's called. I promise you, if you just take a second to just research and just look at some of this stuff, I promise you, it will make you like, oh my God, there are some things that you're experiencing right now in your everyday life that can be pinpointed to something. I didn't know what a microaggression was until a couple of years ago. I didn't know what these things were. I didn't know what misogyny was. I knew that there was something, there was a difference. I didn't know what patriarchy was. Like, these ain't no new words. But people are finding language, and we are all connected on the phones, on our laptops and our phones and all of these things. We on Twitter, we on Instagram. So we are seeing conversations and stuff. We are engaging in conversations with folks who are saying, you know what, I've been experiencing this for the last, since I've been, I couldn't, but this is what it is. This is all it is. So I commend OG for having this conversation because I know that it has been a lot. I can only imagine how it has been, you know, steady having these conversations like all the time, because I be like that. Literally having a conversation about anti-fatness, about fat phobia, and people be like, oh girl, here she go again. Here she pulling up the race card. It's the same thing that white folks do to black folks. And it's gaslighting, because I'm not bringing it out to save me, because it's not. I'm just calling a thing, so we can all understand what it is when it happens to each and every one of us. So, OG says, I would love, if you are watching this, to sit down and have a conversation with you one day. I support you. I love you. I hope you see this video. You are shining bright like a diamond, and you are bringing a necessary conversation to this platform. A necessary conversation. Honestly, as many times y'all had, VH1 has done other sit-down conversations, there needs to be a conversation on VH1, a special about anti-blackness, and like, I'm tired of like police brutality. I like, that's been happening. We've been talking about that. Talk about some other stuff. Y'all can't be focused on talking about police brutality and then y'all out here brutalizing folks with other means in the same system, anti-blackness. It's not making sense for me. Love you, OG. Love everybody for watching this. Tell me what y'all thought about the conversation. Keep it cordial, because y'all know I lock them comments up faster than this.